Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? It's been nearly 3 decades since Rush Hour took the box office by storm. While the movie remains a masterpiece, the actors have faced incredible battles off camera. Some are unrecognizable, while others are no longer with us. Prepare for a nostalgic trip down memory lane as we witness the gut-wrenching then and now of this legendary cast. Jackie Chan as Inspector Lee. Born Chan Kong Song on April 7, 1954 in Victoria Peak, Hong Kong, the martial arts legend first brought the highly skilled and fiercely dedicated Inspector Lee to life in the 1998 blockbuster Rush Hour. At the age of 44, Chan's portrayal of the stoic Hong Kong detective became a massive cultural touchstone, successfully introducing his unique blend of breathtaking practical martial arts and physical comedy to mainstream American audiences. Paired with Chris Tucker's loud-mouthed character, Chan helped revitalize the buddy cop genre, turning the film into a global phenomenon that cemented his status as a Hollywood superstar and paved the way for a highly lucrative international franchise. Despite the character's serious by-the-book nature and straight-man persona, Jackie Chan's real-life personality is famously exuberant, intensely expressive, and heavily involved in the chaotic creative process. This contrast highlighted the cultural and professional hurdles he faced while transitioning to the United States. In Hollywood, Chan struggled immensely with strict union rules and safety regulations that stifled his trademark improvisational and highly dangerous stunt work, a far cry from the total creative freedom he enjoyed in Hong Kong. He also faced the ongoing professional hardship of typecasting in the West. American studios consistently offered him repetitive one-dimensional martial arts roles, making it difficult for him to secure the serious dramatic parts he craved to prove his true range as an actor. Additionally, he battled intense frustration with the language barrier during filming, often feeling that his acting was hindered by the focus on perfectly delivering English dialogue rather than authentic physical expression. Jackie Chan continued to work prolifically in both Hollywood and Chinese cinema for decades, gradually expanding his repertoire and eventually earning an honorary Academy Award in 2016 for his extraordinary lifetime achievements in film. As of 2026, at the age of 71, he remains an active and monumental figure in global entertainment, dedicating much of his time to philanthropic efforts, environmental activism, and mentoring the next generation of performers through his JC Stunt team. Though he has scaled back the death-defying stunts that defined his early career due to decades of accumulated injuries, he continues to act direct produce and lend his voice to major animated features. Alongside his long marriage to former actress Joan Linn Chan, has secured a lasting legacy revered worldwide, not just as an action star, but as a legendary cinematic pioneer. Chris Tucker as Detective James Carter. Born on August 31, 1971 in Decatur, Georgia, the energetic comedian and actor skyrocketed to global fame in the beloved 1998 action comedy Rush Hour. At the age of 26, Tucker's portrayal of the fast-talking, street-smart LAPD detective James Carter became a massive box office sensation and a cultural touchstone of late 90s cinema. Paired opposite Jackie Chan's stoic Chief Inspector Lee, Tucker's electric comedic timing signature, high-pitched delivery, and undeniable charisma created one of the most successful buddy cop dynamics in cinematic history, elevating him to the highest echelons of Hollywood stardom and making him one of the highest-paid actors in the world. Despite playing a loud, arrogant, and freewheeling renegade cop on screen, Chris Tucker's real-life trajectory soon sharply contrasted with his fictional counterpart. Following his rapid rise to fame, Tucker became a born-again Christian, a spiritual awakening that profoundly shifted his personal values. Unlike the vulgar and womanizing Carter, Tucker decided to clean up his comedy routines and became exceptionally selective about his film roles, refusing to use heavy profanity or engage in raunchy material. This moral pivot created professional hardships. He struggled to find projects that aligned with his faith, leading to prolonged multi-year absences from Hollywood and stalled career momentum. He famously turned down millions of dollars to reprise his star-making role in the Friday franchise and later faced significant financial struggles, including a highly publicized battle with the IRS over millions in unpaid taxes during his extended acting hiatus. Tucker eventually managed to revive his career by balancing his stand-up comedy roots with occasional carefully chosen film appearances. He returned to the screen in acclaimed dramatic supporting roles, notably in Silver Linings Playbook, 2012, and Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk, 2016, and later appeared as Nike executive Howard White in the 2023 biographical sports drama Air. Over the years, he has continued to tour globally as a stand-up comedian, resolving his tax debts and reclaiming control over his life and career. At 54, he remains a celebrated and respected figure in the comedy world, operating entirely on his own terms. Maintaining a much more private, grounded lifestyle than in his blockbuster heyday, he continues to perform live and frequently teases the possibility of returning to his iconic role for a fourth Rush Hour installment. Tom Wilkinson as Thomas Griffin/Juntao. Born on February 5, 1948 in Wharfdale, West Riding of Yorkshire, England. The classically trained British actor joined the action comedy genre in the blockbuster Rush Hour, 1998. At the age of 50, Wilkinson's portrayal of Thomas Griffin, a British diplomat secretly operating as the ruthless crime lord Juntao, provided the perfect straight-laced foil to the high-energy history-making buddy cop dynamic of Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. The film was a massive international hit, and his character became a memorable cultural artifact of 90s action cinema, serving as the ultimate sophisticated yet treacherous antagonist, driving the movie's high-stakes narrative. Despite playing a bombastic artifact-smuggling international crime boss, Tom Wilkinson was, in reality, a deeply grounded private family man and a dedicated Shakespearean stage actor, entirely removed from the Hollywood villain archetype. This stark contrast highlighted his remarkable versatility, but his professional journey was not without its hurdles. For much of his early career, Wilkinson struggled to find widespread international recognition, often working continuously in British television and theater without breaking into the global mainstream until he was nearly 50. Once he did cross over into American cinema, his career was marked by the ongoing challenge of avoiding being typecast as either a stuffy British aristocrat, a corrupt corporate executive, or a generic foreign villain, which forced him to carefully navigate his project choices to showcase his true dramatic depths. Throughout his later years, Wilkinson firmly established himself as one of the most respected character actors of his generation, earning 2 Academy Award nominations for his work in the Bedroom and Michael Clayton, and winning an Emmy for John Adams. He maintained a quiet personal life, remaining married to fellow actress Diana Hardcastle for over 3 decades and raising their 2 daughters in North London. His final on-screen appearance came in 2023. Reprising his beloved breakout role as Gerald in the Full Monty television sequel series. Wilkinson passed away suddenly from cardiac arrest at his home in North London on December 30th, 2023, at the age of 75. His unexpected death prompted an immediate outpouring of tributes from the global entertainment community, celebrating the legacy of an actor whose quiet brilliance and immense gravitas elevated every project he touched. Leung as Sang. Born on January 21, 1970. In New York City, the Manhattan native first caught Hollywood's attention in the blockbuster hit Rush Hour 1998. At the age of 28, Leung's portrayal of Sang the ruthless bleach-blonde henchman became an immediate cultural touchstone. His chillingly charismatic performance and memorable confrontations opposite Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker helped elevate the action comedy to legendary status, firmly establishing his terrifying character as one of the most recognizable and iconic movie villains of the late 90s. Despite the character's violent, explosive, and menacing nature, Leung is famously known in real life for being soft-spoken, deeply philosophical, and shy, described by those who know him as the polar opposite of Sang. This contrast was a major part of his early professional journey. He found the aggressive and chaotic energy of the ruthless killer to be a challenging creative leap. His career was also marked by the struggle of being typecast, which for a period made it difficult for him to find substantive work beyond stereotypical Asian gangster or henchman roles. Navigating Hollywood brought its own professional stings. He had to weather the disheartening and abrupt cancellations of series like the medical drama The Night Shift and Marvel's Inhumans, a frustrating reminder of the unpredictability of network television. Leung continued to build a celebrated resume in film and television, maintaining a very private personal life alongside his wife Nancy Bulalakaw and their son. He found immense success bringing his signature intensity to complex multidimensional roles, notably starring as Miles Straum in the hit series Lost, and as the fiercely demanding managing director Eric Tao in HBO's critically acclaimed drama Industry. He also secured memorable parts in major projects including Star Wars The Force Awakens, M. Night Shyamalan's Old, and as Commander Zhao in Netflix's live-action Avatar The Last Airbender. At 56, he continues to be highly sought after in the entertainment industry, residing quietly in Brooklyn, while standing as one of the most respected and uniquely talented character actors of his generation. John Hawkes as Stucky. Born on September 11, 1959, in Alexandria, Minnesota, the native Midwesterner spent years immersed in the regional theater and music scenes before seeking out major Hollywood opportunities. At the age of 38, Hawkes took on the role of Stucky in the 1998 buddy cop blockbuster Rush Hour. Stucky, a sleazy Los Angeles petty criminal and street informant to Chris Tucker's detective James Carter, provided a pivotal and highly memorable comedic interaction that helped set the frantic pace of the film. While his screen time was brief, Hawkes's gritty embodiment of the fast-talking hustler contributed to the vibrant, chaotic atmosphere of a movie that became a massive worldwide cultural phenomenon and redefined the modern action comedy genre. Despite the character's shady, extroverted, and fast-talking persona, John Hawkes was remarkably different off-camera, an unassuming, quiet individual with a deep passion for writing alternative country music and playing in bands like Meat Joy and King Straggler. This striking contrast highlighted his chameleon-like acting abilities, though his gaunt appearance and gravelly voice initially led to frustrating professional hurdles. After moving to Los Angeles, Hawkes endured the struggles of a starving artist working as a telemarketer and carpenter to survive while fighting through intense periods of typecasting. For much of his early career, he found himself repeatedly boxed into playing low-level criminals, thugs, and marginalized weirdos, making it incredibly difficult for him to secure substantial leading parts or break out of the seedy character mold that the industry had assigned him. Hawkes eventually shattered these barriers, evolving into one of the most respected and sought-after character actors in independent cinema and prestige television. He earned immense critical acclaim later in his career, including an Academy Award nomination for his chilling yet sympathetic turn as Teardrop in Winter's Bone 2010 and widespread praise for his transformative performance in The Sessions 2012. His television legacy flourished as well, anchored by beloved roles in Deadwood, Eastbound and Down, and a standout turn in the 2024 season of True Detective Night Country. Remaining fiercely private and dedicated to his music, Hawkes has never chased the traditional Hollywood limelight or engaged in high-profile celebrity culture. At 66, he continues to work steadily in both film and television, maintaining his reputation as a quiet powerhouse of the craft, while enjoying a peaceful, low-key life away from the cameras. Tzi Ma as Consul Han. Born on June 10, 1962 in Hong Kong, the actor moved to New York as a child before bringing Consul Solon Han to life in the 1998 blockbuster action comedy Rush Hour. At the age of 36, Ma's portrayal of the highly respected stoic and fiercely protective diplomat whose daughter is kidnapped became a memorable cultural touchstone. Offering a dignified depiction of an Asian leader, the role was significant in a film that broke ground as a massive Hollywood success featuring two heroes of color. For Ma, his performance as the desperate but authoritative father anchored the film's emotional core and launched what would eventually become his long-running legacy as Hollywood's go-to Asian dad. Despite the formal quiet and emotionally restrained nature of Consul Tzi Ma is described by colleagues as the polar opposite, ebullient, intensely expressive, wickedly funny, and armed with a booming New York accent. This contrast is a testament to his acting abilities, but his career journey was heavily marked by the harsh realities of being an Asian American actor in Hollywood. For decades, Ma grappled with severe industry limitations, the struggle to find meaningful work, and the frustration of being typecast as stoic traditionalists or fathers carrying heavy emotional baggage. Understanding how difficult and unpredictable this path would be, Ma consciously chose to keep his personal needs to an absolute minimum, even making the difficult personal sacrifice never to have children of his own, so he would never be forced by financial desperation to take degrading jobs. Furthermore, he often weathered the professional stings of the television industry, such as the disheartening cancellation of the historic CW series Kung Fu in 2023, a sudden end to a show that had finally broken ground for Asian American representation on broadcast TV. Tzi Ma continued to work extensively in television and film building a beloved reputation and becoming a vital advocate for underrepresented voices in media. He reprised his role as Ambassador Han in Rush Hour 3 and delivered acclaimed performances in films like The Lady Killers, Arrival, The Farewell, Mulan, and Tiger Tail, alongside prominent television arcs on 24 and Veep. At 63, he is alive and remains a highly sought-after active talent in the entertainment industry. Married to actress Tzi Ma since 1994, he continues to champion diverse representation in Hollywood, proudly embracing his affectionate industry-wide title as everybody's favorite movie dad, despite his intensely considered choice not to have a family of his own. Elizabeth Pena as Detective Tanya Johnson. Born on September 23, 1959 in Elizabeth, New Jersey, the talented actress brought her dynamic presence to the hit action comedy Rush Hour. At the age of 38, Pena's portrayal of Detective Tanya Johnson, a skilled LAPD bomb squad expert and partner to Chris Tucker's Detective James Carter, became a standout element of the blockbuster. Her performance offered a grounded, tough, and highly capable Latina character, matching Tucker's fast-paced comedic energy with cool competence and providing significant positive representation for Hispanic actresses in mainstream 90s cinema. While she frequently played tough, no-nonsense professionals and fiery figures on screen, Elizabeth Pena was described by colleagues and friends as incredibly warm, deeply sensitive, and fiercely devoted to her artistic roots. This contrast defined much of her professional journey as she navigated an industry that persistently tried to typecast her. Despite her immense talent and a resume spanning decades, she often faced the hardship of fighting against Hollywood's narrow expectations for Latina actresses, struggling to find roles with the substance and depth she deserved, rather than the stereotypical caricatures typically offered to Hispanic women at the time. Behind her resilient professional facade, Pena also quietly endured personal struggles with severe alcohol addiction, a private battle that stood in stark contrast to her vibrant public persona. Pena continued to work steadily in television and film, delivering memorable performances such as voicing Mirage in Pixar's The Incredibles and guest starring as Pilar, the mother of Sofia Vergara's character, on the hit sitcom Modern Family. She balanced her prolific career with a private family life alongside her husband Hans Rolla and their 2 children. Tragically, Elizabeth Pena passed away at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles on October 14, 2014, at the age of 55. Her death was caused by cardiopulmonary arrest, cardiogenic shock, and acute gastrointestinal bleeding, all stemming from cirrhosis of the liver brought on by alcohol. Her sudden and untimely passing sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, leading to a massive outpouring of tributes from former co-stars and fans who mourned the loss of a true trailblazer for Hispanic representation in Hollywood. Penn as Clive Codd. Born on October 10, 1965 in Los Angeles, California, the talented character actor built a steady career throughout the 1980s and 1990s, before taking on his explosive role in the 1998 hit. At the age of 32, Penn's portrayal of the volatile and heavily armed small-time arms dealer Clive Codd became a memorable highlight in Rush Hour. His brief but highly entertaining hostage standoff and explosive shootout with Chris Tucker's character perfectly set the fast-paced action comedy tone for a film that became a massive international box office sensation and a cultural staple of the buddy cop genre. Despite the character's aggressive, short-tempered, and ruthless on-screen persona, Chris Penn was known in his real life as a softer, decent, and good-natured individual who was far more vulnerable than the criminals he typically portrayed. This contrast mirrored his broader professional and personal struggles. He was heavily typecast as volatile villains, corrupt cops, or unsavory working-class thugs, which made it incredibly difficult for him to break out into more diverse or leading roles. Additionally, Penn endured severe personal hardships off-camera, battling significant weight gain and a reliance on substances, all while navigating a demanding Hollywood landscape in the formidable shadow of his older brother actor, Sean Penn. Penn continued to work steadily as a character actor into the early 2000s, appearing in comedic films like Corky Romano and Starsky and Hutch, and famously voicing the corrupt officer Eddie Pulaski in the acclaimed video game Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Though he never married, he maintained a private personal life and had a long-term relationship with model Stefiana de la Cruz throughout the 1990s. Tragically, his physical health steadily declined over the years. Penn passed away in his Santa Monica, California apartment on January 24, 2006 at the age of 40, from non-specific cardiomyopathy, an enlarged heart. The coroner ruled the death accidental, noting that the effects of multiple prescription medications, particularly the highly addictive cough syrup, promethazine with codeine, were a significant contributing factor. His sudden death profoundly shocked the entertainment world, and he was subsequently laid to rest at Holy Cross Cemetery in Culver City, California, leaving behind a legacy of impactful, gritty performances. Rex Linn as FBI agent Dan Whitney. Born on November 13, 1956 in Spearman, Texas, the actor first gained widespread recognition for his imposing presence on screen. At the age of 41, Linn's portrayal of the corrupt and menacing FBI agent Dan Whitney in Rush Hour added a crucial layer of grounded tension to the blockbuster action comedy. The film was a massive cultural phenomenon, and his role as the treacherous federal agent served as the perfect dramatic foil to the iconic comedic pairing of Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, leaving a lasting impression on the action genre. Despite the character's ruthless, stern, and treacherous nature, Rex Linn is widely known off-screen as a remarkably genial, humorous, and warm-hearted individual described by co-stars as the polar opposite of his villainous roles. This stark contrast highlighted his acting range, but his imposing stature and authoritative voice led to a long struggle with typecasting. For years, he found it difficult to find work outside of playing hard-nosed cops, corrupt officials, or tough guy antagonists. His career also endured unforeseen professional setbacks, most notably the sudden cancellation of the hit series CSI Miami in 2012 due to a combination of declining ratings and budget cuts. After 10 seasons of starring as Sergeant Frank Tripp, the show was axed abruptly without a proper series finale, bringing a disheartening end to a decade-long professional journey. Rex Linn continued to find success in television, eventually breaking away from his tough guy typecasting to take on lighter, more comedic roles in hit shows like Young Sheldon and critically acclaimed dramas like Better Call Saul. At 69, he is thriving both personally and professionally. He currently stars in the NBC sitcom Happy's Place, alongside country music legend Reba McEntire, whom he began dating in 2020 and became engaged to in late 2024. Sharing a deep bond, a love for the outdoors, and an enduring passion for acting, he continues to balance a busy on-screen career while enjoying a celebrated romance in his later years. Barry Shabbaka Henley as Bobby. Born on September 15, 1954 in New Orleans, Louisiana, the distinguished character actor first brought Officer Bobby to life in the 1998 blockbuster Rush Hour. At the age of 43, Henley's portrayal of the loyal, exasperated LAPD colleague to Chris Tucker's hyperactive Detective Carter provided a grounded and hilarious comedic foil. The film was a massive global success, revitalizing the buddy cop genre and blending martial arts with American comedy, making Bobby a memorable part of a defining cultural and cinematic touchstone of the late 1990s. Despite frequently playing weary, stern authority figures and no-nonsense cops like Bobby Barry Shabbaka, Henley is known in real life as a deeply optimistic, well-read, and compassionate individual who describes his natural disposition as someone who makes lemonade out of lemons. His journey in Hollywood was unconventional and filled with its own hurdles. He came to on-screen acting quite late, making his first television pilot appearance at the age of 37 after years working in regional theater. This late start meant he had to struggle to build momentum in a youth-obsessed and highly competitive industry. Henley also faced the persistent hurdle of being heavily typecast as detectives, security guards, and police officers, which for a period made it difficult for him to find work that showcased his full dramatic range. Furthermore, he experienced the professional sting of network television's volatility, enduring the frustrating and abrupt cancellations of several promising series he starred in, including Robbery Homicide Division, Flash Forward, and HBO's Luck. Barry Shabbaka Henley continued to build an incredibly prolific and respected career as a character actor over the ensuing decades, ultimately breaking past his early typecasting. He became a regular fixture in director Michael Mann's films, delivering memorable performances in Alley, Collateral, and Miami Vice, while also appearing in hits like Steven Spielberg's The Terminal and the Oscar-nominated A Star is Born. On television, he found tremendous joy starring as the beloved Uncle Tunde on the CBS sitcom Bob Hart's Abishola, a role he cherished until the series concluded its successful 5-season run in 2024. At 71, he is still an active and revered presence in the entertainment industry, celebrated for bringing truth, warmth, and authenticity to every project he takes on. Philip Baker Hall as Captain William Deal. Born on September 10, 1931 in Toledo, Ohio, the prolific character actor stepped into the shoes of the LAPD precinct commander in the 1998 hit action comedy Rush Hour. At the age of 66, Hall's portrayal of the gruff, no-nonsense Captain William D.L. provided the perfect authoritative foil to the chaotic comedic energy of Chris Tucker's Detective James Carter. The film became a massive global blockbuster and a pop culture phenomenon, and Hall's stern, exasperated presence firmly anchored the police procedural side of the story, making his classic angry police boss archetype a memorable component of the franchise's enduring success. Despite often playing hardened, cynical, or explosive authority figures on screen, Philip Baker Hall was remembered by peers as an exceptionally warm, intellectual, and gentle man. A former high school English teacher who had served in the military as a translator, his real-life erudite nature was a sharp contrast to the hard-boiled detectives, mobsters, and corrupt politicians he frequently portrayed. Hall faced considerable professional and personal struggles before finding fame. He started his career late, not pursuing acting full-time until he was 30. He also battled severe alcoholism that hindered his early trajectory, leading to long periods where he was completely broke and struggling to find consistent work until achieving sobriety in the mid-1970s. For decades, he labored as a journeyman actor, often typecast in small, uncredited bit parts, before finally earning widespread acclaim much later in life. Hall's late career resurgence made him one of the most universally respected character actors in Hollywood, marked by his frequent collaborations with director Paul Thomas Anderson in films like Hard Eight, Boogie Nights, and Magnolia, as well as his iconic turn as the relentless library cop Mr. Bookman on Seinfeld. He enjoyed a steady stream of work well into his 80s, appearing in popular television shows such as Modern Family and Curb Your Enthusiasm. Hall passed away at his home in Glendale, California on June 12, 2022, at the age of 90 from emphysema. His death was deeply mourned across the entertainment industry, prompting widespread tributes from filmmakers and co-stars who remembered him as a masterful, hard-working actor capable of turning everyday authority figures into captivating, lived-in performances. Mark Rolston as FBI agent Warren Russ. Born on December 7, 1956, the Baltimore, Maryland native first began his acting career in the theater before breaking into blockbuster films. At the age of 41, Rolston's portrayal of the stern, strictly by-the-book FBI agent Warren Russ in the 1998 action comedy Rush Hour became a memorable anchor for the film's chaotic buddy cop dynamic. As the quintessential authoritative straight man who constantly dismisses the unorthodox methods of Inspector Lee and Detective Carter, his character provided the necessary bureaucratic friction that elevated the film's comedic brilliance, helping it become a massive box office hit and a cultural staple of late 90s cinema. Despite the character's humorless, uncompromising demeanor and Rolston's broader cinematic reputation for playing terrifying, hard-edged antagonists, those who know him describe a deeply dedicated family man with a notoriously pleasant personality and a classically trained theatrical background. This stark contrast between his real life and his on-screen presence has been a defining part of his professional journey. Because he was blessed with a naturally commanding voice and a trademark icy stare, he faced the persistent professional hardship of being heavily typecast in Hollywood. Consistently funneled into playing villains, menacing convicts, and strict government agents, he often found it difficult to break out of this mold to secure lighter, more diverse acting roles, forcing him to navigate the professional limitations of his own intimidating screen persona. Mark Rolston successfully adapted to the changing industry by expanding his career heavily into the world of voice acting and motion capture. He has been married to his wife Georgina O'Farrell since 1990, and together they share a quiet life with their children. Over the past few decades, he has lent his commanding voice to massive pop culture franchises playing iconic roles like Lex Luthor in the animated series Young Justice Deathstroke in the Batman Arkham video games and Norman Osborn in the Marvel's Spider-Man game series. As of 2026, at the age of 69, Rolston remains an active and highly respected veteran in the entertainment industry, continuing to thrive in interactive media while enjoying a stable private family life far removed from his villainous on-screen counterparts. Clifton Powell as Luke. Born on March 16, 1956, in Washington, D.C., the seasoned actor stepped into the hilarious role of Luke Detective Carter's shady underworld cousin in the 1998 blockbuster Rush Hour. At the age of 42, Powell's portrayal of the fast-talking, street-smart informant added a layer of comedic grit to the film, perfectly playing off Chris Tucker's chaotic energy. Though his screen time was relatively brief, his standout performance became a memorable fixture in a movie that dominated the box office, helped redefine the modern buddy cop genre, and cemented Powell's reputation as a remarkably reliable and commanding character actor. Despite frequently playing aggressive antagonists, ruthless gangsters, or shady criminals, perhaps most famously as Pinky in the Friday franchise, Clifton Powell's real personality is a stark contrast to his on-screen personas. Off-camera, he is known as a deeply grounded family man, a consummate professional, and an articulate, classically trained student of theater who approaches his craft with deep seriousness. This dichotomy between his personal demeanor and his explosive characters has been a defining challenge of his career. He has openly discussed the professional hardships of being heavily typecast as a villain. While his undeniable talent for playing menacing or overtly comedic bad guys kept him employed, it also severely pigeonholed him. This stereotyping made it difficult for him to find diverse work and land the leading dramatic roles that would showcase his full emotional range outside of the antagonist archetype. Over the decades, Clifton Powell has maintained an incredibly prolific work ethic, accumulating hundreds of credits across film, television, and video games, including famously voicing Big Smoke in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and starring in the television series Saints and Sinners. He has continued to work extensively in independent films and stage plays while dedicating time to mentoring younger actors. In his personal life, he has remained focused on his family and wife, Kimberly, gaining media attention in recent years as the proud father of his son, Clifton Powell, Jr. As of 2026, at the age of 70, Powell remains alive and actively working. He is highly respected as a veteran of the entertainment industry, continuing to lend his commanding presence and distinct voice to a wide variety of film and television projects. From the vibrant energy of 1998 to the seasoned wisdom of the present day, the Rush Hour cast represents a unique era of cinema that prioritized heart and humor. Their journey reminds us that true talent only gets better with age. If this trip down memory lane touched your heart, please give this video a like. Subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the transformations of your favorite cinematic legends.